Yeah.
Like, it's not... It's... The DK does fine as well. Like, he just buys a Quelling Blade and they trade farm, but... The Medusa's always going to get farm. She can just go back to the jungle if needed as well, so... There's no pressure on Newbee to swap lanes up, I don't think.
Yeah, and they've got Wasey on the Leshrac, Alwyn on the Brewmaster, Sensheng with the Venge. If you don't know Alwyn, he was playing for Newbee Mr. Game Boy, and was the most impressive player on that team, on a team that felt like it was on the cusp of being LAN participating. They played really well at the Sonya New Stars tournament, and just as a 5 as a whole, they looked really good. And I'm so excited to see him here with the main Newbee roster. I was unable to follow him in yesterday's matchups as I was covering Group B, but be on the lookout for him. Be on the lookout for Wasey. He is good as well at this 4 position. He is very active. So this new Newbee lineup, they've been successful so far, and we'll see if they can pull an upset here against LGD. And make a lot of Newbee fans who have been chomping at the bit for them to be in a LAN this year very happy.
Yeah, I think they just need to look to play around this Brewmaster split at level 6. You know, try and force down as many towers as they can between that and the Veno. I like the draft, like I said before, but obviously when you're playing up against this PA Magnus, it feels like all it takes is like 1 or 2 mistakes, and then all of a sudden they just take over the game. So Newbee need to have a clean game here, I think, if they want to go up 1-0 in this series. Cannot make mistakes. Easier said than done.
Yeah. Sometimes it's mistakes, sometimes it's just big crits when you're up against the Phantom Assassin.
Like, I just worry that as soon as this PA gets BKB, they don't really have a great way of dealing with her.
Is that going to be a BKB early, though, for the Phantom Assassin? Or are we looking at... Oh, Skewer missed by FY. Is this just going to be like one early item into a BKB, or are you trying to extend as long as you can before getting a BKB?
Well, we've been to build, because he has the mag on his team, he doesn't need to build like any kind of Battle Fury.
Yeah.
So what we've been usually seeing is they go for like a double Wraithband Yasha, and then they'll just rush the BKB afterwards. That's what I saw the Chinese teams do at the Major, so I assume it's going to be the same again here.
Just have that Empower and skip the Battle Fury, because sometimes I've been seeing Battle Fury Deso, but obviously it's a different situation here when you've got the Empower and you're not building that Battle Fury beforehand. Take a look around.
Chalice is just having to lane down here by himself. He's kind of just waiting to devour a creep in the jungle, it feels like. He can't really lane up against this Veno, so it's difficult for him to get anything done.
Moggy early with this Venomancer hasn't taken anything just yet. A lot of different directions you can kind of go with the Venomancer, especially if sometimes I've been seeing tri-lanes with the Venomancer. Right now, Wasey is just dragging a creep wave, but you see a Venomancer, 2 supports, especially 2 that can give you a stun in a Magic Missile and a Split Earth, throw a Venomous Gale out. You could really see that be just so detrimental to the life of Chalice.
Wakesy made a really nice play up in this top lane, by the way. I don't know if you saw, he body blocked the small camp while he was pulling the wave back. So he's obviously taking it all the way back behind his own tower, just to upset the lane equilibrium. And it just stops FY on this Magnus from pulling the small camp and just getting free XP and gold. You know, a lot of people have talked before about how this Magnus is such a greedy support. If you can freely get these pulls off in your safe lane as the Magnus, it feels so good. So you'll see a lot of teams obviously try and put pressure on him early on in the laning stage. Make sure he doesn't have that good start.
Chalice is in trouble here bottom. He got hit by the Venomous Gale, and now the Magic Missile came out. He was regenning relatively well when he had the Scorched Earth running, but the Venomous Gale off cooldown, thrown back at Chalice, and this should be first blood for Newbee. Moggy gets it.
I thought Sensheng was going to try and steal the kill there, but fortunately he didn't. Oh, top lane as well. They're going on X-Nova.
X-Nova, he's getting low and just slapped down by Alwyn. They bring over FY, but it's not going to keep him alive. A good skewer there on Wasey. The Split Earth misses, and then one more shot from FY to get at least one in return.
That's a huge kill as well up in the up onto the X-Nova in the top lane, because you know this is 2 heroes against 3. You know, Magnus isn't really too much of a hero, but even so, especially with the Lesher only being level 1, that's for that kill to happen, you have to land a really good. It's not like there's any setups done before.
Yeah, this is just a lot of harassment coming out from Alwyn, as well as Shrek. He's got the Split Earth right now. He's getting close to those boots. Alwyn, he's going boots as well. He's got 1 in the Thunderclap and 1 in the Drunken Brawler. 2v3. They were able to get the kill, and I think that was also with you know, FY looking for the pull and out of the lane for a split second, because you saw him come back once X-Nova died, get the skewer, and then ultimately get the kill in return on a Wacy, but he's out here pulling and staying away. And then meanwhile, bottom, they bring Wacy to go for this Doom. They throw the Magic Missile, and that's what I'm talking about. This tri-lane with Moggy, it can be really effective and open the lane up quite a bit. But the second he leaves, Alwyn dies top. X-Nova gets the kill there. And that's 3 against 1, not the 3 against 2. And makes it much easier for LGD.
This Medusa doesn't seem to be having too good of a time in the mid lane. I think when she hits level 5, it'll become a little bit easier. But DK's basically just going to sit in this lane. Is he building a Soul Ring? Is anything coming out in the courier? No. I feel like when you play against this Medusa, just having the Soul Ring available just for the bursts of mana would be really helpful. He kind of just sits in this lane, doesn't really care if he gets snaked. You know, he's happy just to trade clicks. You can't really harass him out of lane with the 2 points in Dragon's Blood.
Yeah, maybe pretty sustainable in this lane. He's level 5, as is Sccc. Goes 3 into the Mystic Snake.
Top lane.
And take a look over at top. The Inkswell hits onto Alwyn. He'll run the other way. And trying to get away with enough movement speed, but the Stifling Dagger onto the tier 1. Stroke of Fate lands. 1 more shot coming in. And they do kill Alwyn, but meanwhile, bottom, the same happens to the offlaner of LGD. Chalice falls to the tri-lane of Newbee.
I mean, it's so difficult for either offlane in this scenario, right? To kind of get like anything done at all just because they're both getting tri-laned. I haven't seen this personally in a while where both teams commit to a full-on tri-lane. This is new.
I think even bringing a second down for LGD though to help out Chalice is won't be that effective. With the multiple stuns that they have, the Venomous Gale, how do you even help out Chalice at that point?
We've mentioned that the Venomancer just basically has a free lane wherever he goes. It doesn't matter if you bring 3 heroes down to this lane, the Venomancer's still going to beat that lane. So they just need to be careful. I'd like to see Moggy max out wards now and just look to push the towers early on.
Mid.
He has got 2 points in wards at the moment.
Got themselves the Magic Missile as well as the Split Earth, and we'll see if they're able to get the kill. Wacy, nice body blocks to start, but it won't be enough. Inkswell placed onto the DK. FY tries to TP next to multiple heroes that can stop that, and they will.
To be fair, that was a decent attempt by FY. He saw that they used the stuns on the DK before, so just went for the TP in the sense that their stuns might still be on. And as long as the DK lives there, that's the most important thing. Especially when he's popped the dragon form. You really want to be able to keep the pressure on when you pop that.
Smoke. Now they're heading over top. Wacy and Sensheng. Try and help out this Brewmaster if they could get a kill top after the Brewmaster is being killed a couple of times. Question is, who can they end up getting? And it might be X-Nova. And past the tower, Alwyn will go. He's hit with the Stifling Dagger. They just need the Magic Missile, but they can't catch up.
Yeah, they don't have a huge amount of catch, do they? Unless the Venge gets in really close. Not until they reach the Venge level 6, at least, anyway. Good D-ward by Sancho.
Sentry immediately placed, taking out the Radiant Sentry.
Oh, bot lane as well. They're going on Moggy.
Let's see if they can get him. They've got Ame down here, and yeah, that's more than enough damage. I don't know if they were expecting Ame to make the rotation towards bottom.
That's a huge TP as well. I feel like Moggy should have possibly seen that coming, though. Like, if you're imagining you're in Ame's shoes on this PA, you see 3 heroes TP to your top lane. Like, well, I can't really do anything up here. I'm just going to TP bot and play the other lane instead.
And he is a level 6, so he's got the coup de grace ready to go. And he's now about to hit level 7. This is kind of really helped out Chalice in this bottom lane. He's been struggling mightily. And, you know, Moggy just coming in. He's been dead 3 times. Now he's got an open lane for a moment. Feels pretty good. But over mid, X-Nova hit with the magic missile. Split Earth comes through. Dragon Tail onto this Leshrac. And he's got a Phantom Embrace on him, so he will end up dying. Ame makes the rotation, kills Moggy again with those crits. Oh boy, the DD doing so much. One dagger and I'm killed. Down goes Alwyn. They'll take out San Sheng. Oh, LGD with some great rotations to take advantage of a gank gone wrong from Newbee.
I don't really understand why Newbee are trying to take these fights before they've got their big spells online. Like, Brewmaster's just hit level 5. Venomancer's still was level 5 at the time at the start of that fight as well. Like, you're not going to be able to fight this DK and a PA that just rotates in. You don't have your spells available. I understand that they want to keep their tier 1 alive as long as possible. So they've taken that fight while the DK had his ult on, so he can't really use it to push the tower now. And when you've got this Deucer in your lineup, it's really important you keep your mid tier 1 alive as long as possible because it opens up so much of the map, especially towards the ancient camp and whatnot for the Dire side. But that felt like that was a lot to give away.
Take a look at the net worth. Phantom Assassin leading the way so far. Or, well, as I say that, goes behind the DK for a moment. We'll regain it soon, but going Yasha first. We'll see what that turns into. Is the Empower really helping Ame just can farm at such a pace? Look at how far ahead he is from now Moggy after Mugi's died 2 times in a row. It's been really rough so far in these 7 to 10 minute mark for Newbee. They've lost a couple of heroes. They lost their position 1 Venomancer twice. Granted, they're going to be banking on the Medusa into the ultra late game.
Yeah, Mugi's not had a great time, has he? It feels like he had such a good laning stage. Like, they set him up for it, but when you're tri-laning with your 2 supports down at this bot lane, they leech so much of his XP. So he's kind of not being able to ride this kind of wave of momentum that he was hoping for. It's a little bit unfortunate for him. And after a couple of bad fights, they really need to get this Brewmaster level 6 online and try and take fights around the split. Because at the moment, this DK and PA are just taking over the game in terms of farm. And you see FY is even maxing in power as well. It's a standard build for him. You just go for the 1-4-1. Just makes lots of stacks like you see at the moment that PA is doing with the Ancients.
Yeah, there's been stacks everywhere ready for Ame. And now the Empower level 3. He could just grab the Yasha. Ready to go. Farming up so well, and maybe might be able to get away like a bandit after grabbing this tier 1 mid. There's really no way that they plan on stopping him, and they threw Venomous Gale. That's great, but what else? What else are you gonna try and throw to get this kill on a maybe?
Like the Venge doesn't have 6, so they don't have swap. Until they either get swap on the Venge or wait till he gets an Atos on this Lesh, they really struggle to start fights unless the Brewmaster just pops split and runs in. They
could get Chalice. He turns back around for a moment. Venomous Scale comes in, and now Wasey looking for the Split Earth. I think he threw that a little bit too far north. But Chalice is still alive, and I think missing that stun will force them to pop the split, and that'll be what gets the kill now as Moggy finishes him off over top. Chalice ends up dying. But I think that stun from Wasey missed.
Looks like he did pop Doom, though, before. So I think he might have possibly tried to kill the Brewmaster, and it didn't work. But yeah, popping that split was a little bit weird. We've talked about how they need it to be able to take fights, and now all of a sudden it's on cooldown for another 100 seconds. This PA is not going to be scared of anything on the map at the moment if the Brew split's not up.
And farming at a quick pace, and like you said, that early BKB is what's going to be next. So it's the early Yasha into a BKB. Ame farming really quickly. Magic Missile comes out onto the DK, but DK catching up with the haste. Stifling Dagger, and maybe just hitting away onto Sansheng. Ame gets the kill, grabs a bit of gold, and only accelerating the farm speed of this Phantom Assassin by grabbing that kill.
I mean, it's PS 5, 0, and 3. Like, just from that rotation towards the mid lane and, you know, picking up a couple of odd kills here and now. Here and then, sorry. And it feels like he's going to have this BKB in about 2,000 golds. Newbee, what's your answer to that? I'm really not sure.
Yeah, LGD. They've been playing this really well. And playing around the cooldowns. Again, without the Primal Split, does Phantom Assassin feel scared? Does Phantom Assassin feel scared with the Primal Split at the moment with what Newbee's arsenal is full of? Especially if you're by this top shrine and by a tower, you'll get your rotations. I don't think you die quickly enough.
I still think he has to be a little bit careful, though. Like, the split is the only way he dies. You have to show it respect. One thing I want to point out, by the way, Xnova's made a really good smoke play and put 2 deep wards down in the Radiant top jungle. Medusa obviously really wants to play this area. It's the most efficient farming part of the map between these 3 camps, even on the Radiant side. So he goes and puts vision down where he knows that the Deuce is going to be farming, so that when this PA gets BKB, they can just look for the kill. Poor FY.
Away, see?
He was close to his blink as well, so big kill.
He's got the 141 build with the 1 in the RP, of course. Power level 4, so Phantom Assassin just getting that much stronger, farming it that much quicker of a pace. 1,300 gold saved up, just 1,000 gold away from getting this BKB.
And that's scary. It looks like they're desperately trying to find something here, Newbee, to be able to, you know, get a kill, then turn it into a possible Roche as well. But LGD just aren't there.
He's almost got to be Rod of Atos. That'll be nice.
It's nice. It gives them a little bit more catch, at least. The thing is, like, they're playing this top side of the map at the moment on the Radiant, just because, like we said, they want to play around the Roche. They're really worried that if they don't take the Roche soon, what's going to happen is this Mac's going to get Blink, PA's going to have BKB, and then all of a sudden, it's so much easier for LGD to take a Roche fight.
Swamp Magic Missile. They'll look for the DK. Poison Nova is expended. Split Earth lands. They've got the Spirit Vessel on maybe, and a lot of damage raining in with the Pulse Nova active, and Wacy helping out Moggy to get that kill with these 4 heroes over mid. And now he picks up the Rod of Atos, or it's coming in on the Courier. From there, I mean, the catch is much better, and we'll see what they're able to do. They still have Primal Split, so they haven't used it just yet. But at the same time, BKB is practically finished for Ame.
Oh yeah, the Blink's practically finished for Mag as well. He just needs to take 1 more camp. Oh, Sccc picks up a DD rune on the dude. Get this Roche in time before LGD gets their items out. This is like the perfect scenario for them.
See if LGD kind of catch wind of this.
They have a smoke, but it's going to be too slow. They're not going to get to the pit in time.
They had to go straight to the pit. They'll miss it by a split second.
If there wasn't a DD route there.
Oh, maybe Swap has the Spirit Vessel on top. The Venomous Gale hits. Stone Gaze used by Sccc. And they take out 1. They look for more. They'll send the Brewings forward as Xnova pops the Inkswell on himself. But there's the Rod of Atos. The Inkswell will pop and land on the nothing. 2 kills coming out for LGD. Or for Newbee.
Yeah, I'm surprised DK went into quite so close towards the pit there. Especially before he has his own BKB. You know, you don't have vision around the pit. Newbee are playing with these Veno wards as well, which Mugi's doing a really good job of just shoving at the front of the fight every time. So he sees everything that's coming. And FY needs to be a little bit careful with this Blink on the Mag, because these Veno wards do cancel your Blink being available. So you need to make sure you're watching constantly. Possibly look to pick up that Shadow Blade next as well to get the best initiation he can.
So Phantom Assassin has 10,000 net worth, but right behind him is the Medusa, about to pick up a Dragon Lance. The farm from Sccc You know, not participating in as many kills as Ame, but still farming just as quickly.
Yeah, that Roche has really helped them, like hit some kind of timing for themselves as well. It still does feel like though that in the fights, if they get 1 RP with some big crits on the PA, the fight's going to be just over straight away, especially if they don't get split off. So it's still very much down to execution for Newbee. You know, you can't afford to take another bad fight probably for the rest of the game, it feels like.
So LGD, they've smoked up. They're heading towards bottom.
Oh, he has an invis rune on Ame as well.
I walk into Moggy. Yeah, this invis working in his favor. Stifling Dagger hits Moggy really hard. The Radabatos comes in. The BKB will be popped. Stone Gaze coming through, and now the chase is on for Ame. Poison Nova goes out, and Moggy will die. But they've got the stun on Ame, and the BKB is worn out. He has to be careful as the BKB now popped by Chalice. Wasey dies. That's 2 heroes dead. And they've surrounded Sccc as well as San Shang as the RP hits onto 2. And now to follow it up, they've got maybe behind them. The Primal Split will be used by Alwyn. As OGD back off to the left for a moment. Sccc into the trees. But Ame shows up again, and he doesn't have any mana left over. There is the Centaur Stomp coming in from Chalice. Back to form is Alwyn. Sccc getting low. The whole side of LGD is here. But he'll come back to life in just a moment. They want to finish off this Brewmaster before he's there, and there it is. He's back to life. Sccc now needs to run. Dragon Tail hits. They've got the Infernal Blade, taking out Sccc a second time. That's a full team wipe over the duration. And LGD come out on top.
It's so difficult for Newbee to take that fight when they get caught before all their heroes are ready. You know, the Brewmaster arrived so late to the fight. Fortunately, as soon as that split runs out, LGD just understand how much stronger they are than Newbee in these team fights. Veno going down first is not the ideal situation as well. He really needs to hit this level 12 for the level 2 Poison Nova as well. Mugi's fallen so far behind. And it's because, like you mentioned before, he just had this really rough start. He got his level 6 really late, and it's kind of the knock-on effect from that.
I've been able to overwhelm Newbee. It looked like it was going so well in I would say the first 10 minutes. Definitely favored Newbee. But with that BKB now on Phantom Assassin, has the Yasha, another double damage. I don't think that... A lot of double damages on the board. And it's been picked up by the Medusa a couple times, and actually Ame's gotten 1 or 2. And with that double damage, finds Wasey, avoids the Split Earth, but doesn't actually get the kill.
I'll be brutally honest, Beacop. I'm struggling to see a scenario, apart from, you know, the Medusa somehow getting 6 slotted, and they missed every RP for the rest of the game, to see how Newbee would win this now. It's going to be so difficult for them. They have to, it feels like they have to take perfect fights every time now to be able to have any chance of winning them. This split just needs to throw up the Magnus or the PA into the air. You know, they need to somehow bring down these 2 tanky cores in the DK and the Doom, who, they both have BKBs for themselves as well. There's not a huge amount of physical damage on this Radiant side. When these BKBs are active, really difficult for Newbee to get through their cores.
This is another smoke from LGD. They're sensing how unprepared Newbee are for the team fight of LGD, or for themselves. And we're looking to fight. They went through the jungle, didn't find anybody as everybody from Newbee is over in the top lane having a party. They lose their bottom tier 2, and with that, LGD, they want to force Newbee back. They've got the RP ready, so...
If they can get the brew before he gets his split off, that would be the ideal scenario. It's so difficult to push high ground against a Medusa though. You know, especially with the mana snake talent. 1 bounce and all of a sudden you're down to half mana before the fight's even started.
Yeah, the mana steal is disgusting. How much time is the Medusa able to have though? Is it going to become a problem at some point?
The Medusa can become... The thing really have the control for the Medusa to be able to get her damage off, it feels like. Especially when these BKBs are popped. Like, half of Newbee's team has to basically run away when the BKBs are active on LGD's side. They just need to try and kayak them out in these fights, which is not an easy thing to do. Especially when this PA is just blinking around. Can't really fight a PA in that scenario.
BKBs are still pretty high in terms of duration. 9 seconds here for the Phantom Assassin. Going into the Desolator. And not too far off of it.
I think the scariest thing for Newbee is that this Doom's just picked up a blink as well. So where the Brewmaster's been able to show in fights not worrying too much about having to get it split off, the Doom now has this instant jump to the backline where he has the blink centaur stomp and can follow up with the Doom as well. And it's going to make it so much more difficult for this Brewmaster to play the game that he wants to.
Yeah, Owen has to have perfect positioning. They are setting up towards top. Looks like they might want to smoke. They don't actually have one. They could just be grouping up for the potential push from LGD. LGD, they're coming in towards this tier 1 tower. Ame leading the
really
charge.
Newbee really want to hold this kind of high ground near their secret shop as well if they can. Just have any kind of vision advantage. That's why you see all the Veno wards up on the high ground as well. They want to make sure they see everything coming their way.
So Elder Dragon form gets popped, maybe. Leading off for a second, trying to grab this tier 1 tower. And the blink forward, looking for a Dragon Tail opportunity. Nice dodge on the Dragon Tail. Now they've got the Rod of Atos. Ame on the side, looking for Moggy, but the Split Earth hits the Phantom Assassin. They've also got the Primal Split, cycloning this Phantom Assassin. The BKB's been popped by Maybe. They have the stun for a moment on FY. And the Soulbind hits on Sccc, but what else do you have? They lose X Nova. They'll take out San Cheng. And now that the Stone Gaze is over, the Doom comes out, and the Medusa's in trouble.
RP.
BKB pop, there's the RP, easily done by FY. Sccc goes down, there goes All-In. Poison Nova will be popped by Moggy. They've got the Split Earth, possibly a kill on the DK, but not enough damage, and Moggy will also fall. They get the deny on the DK. All the damage, FY? Ooh. Skirting out of there.
I mean, you see how easy these fights are for Newbee, well, for LGD to play, sorry, I say that. They pop the split, right? They didn't even get the Doom off onto him first, even though the Doom tried to blink in and get it off. And they basically just wait for the split to run out, and then FY's hiding in the trees for the whole fight. The split finally runs out, and they're like, okay, well, they're not strong anymore, we'll just turn. And it's so difficult. They even use the Medusa buyback there as well. So that's so much of her net worth that she's been building up, just thrown away. Just because she tried to get back into the fight. I'm trying to think of an item that Newbee can build that would help them win these team fights. And I can't really think of one. Maybe if they can get the Greaves onto Veno, it might be able to keep them, you know, alive longer at least. But it still feels like they're really struggling to get damage off onto these BKB cores. Now, this PA's almost got a Satanic. She's 2,300 gold away.
They almost killed the DK in that fight, but...
But then there's still a PA!
Yeah.
And a Doom!
and it's still just almost killed a DK. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades and nuclear war. And Moggy really easily killed by the Phantom Assassin. They've isolated Ame. Will be forced to pop the BKB. The damage comes out. There's Blur used, and well, he's still alive, but we'll lose FY.
I mean, that's fine for LGD, though. They don't mind making that trade. They're more than happy to give up FY's life for Ame.
Might be X Nova on top of it. So, Cyclone up. Thrown down, Split Earth. Wave of Terror hits. Wasey gets the kill.
I mean, that would have been awful if Ame died there as well, because he didn't have buyback, and the Roche is up as well, so definitely worth for LGD. But they did use Split on Newbee. They need to keep trying to play around that. They're probably not going to be able to take another fight for 90 seconds now, so although they get these 2 support kills, they're not really going to be able to get any kind of objective out of, unfortunately for them. And with Split being down, I think LGD might just go for this Roche themselves now.
That's exactly where they're heading. Inside the pit, popping Roche's spell block, and here we go. Do Newbee have a way into this?
Not without the Split. It's difficult for them to take fights with it, never mind without it. Yeah. We'll just have to let this go, unfortunately. You thought you were going to struggle to kill Arme once? Try and kill him twice.
He's 12-0-7. Oh my. He actually has not died this game.
Yeah, Arme's played really well. He did a really good job of just avoiding fights when Newbee was strong at like that 10 to 15 minute mark, and just carried on farming. And if he survives that period of the game, you know, it becomes easier and easier as the game goes on.
Get that top tower easily. Bottom, Wasey trying to push. Satanic finished off here for Ame. Just don't know what Newbee need, and it's just all come down to how big is the back of Sccc. Is it enough to carry 4 heroes to a victory?
Still feels like a slow burner of a game now, where unless Newbee play perfectly, they're just slowly losing the game more and more as time goes on. They're just bleeding out little by little.
LGD continuing to get these objectives. They got the top tier 2, they get the mid tier 2. All the outer tower is gone.
Yeah, they still have the Aegis for another like 3.5 minutes or so. So there's no rush for them to go high ground yet either. Is anybody close to a key item? DK's really close to AC, so they might be waiting to look for that before they go high ground. FY is really close to mech as well, about 500 or 400 gold away now. So there's a couple of big items coming online soon that they're probably going to look to wait for.
Not really an entry point for Newbee with the Aegis up. They want Medusa to continue to farm going into the MKB. Moggy, he's going Guardian Greaves, try and sustain a little bit for this team. Other than that, any big items that can come out after or with this MKB?
I think it's only really the MKB that's going to make a difference at the moment, it feels like. The Greaves are nice, but it's not... It feels like the Greaves won't change the way that the fights are going. Oh, top lane, Bruce in trouble.
Alwyn's been spotted and will force the split out.
Oh, it's so sad the Storm Banner just died straight away, so he can't chuck Arme up into the air. That's really unfortunate.
And they're trying to find Alwyn.
Oh, they see him.
And this is a problem because, well, that's going to happen where Ame just stays right by the Earth Panda, and when you come back to being a singular form, he's just going to kill you off.
Can I just say how ridiculously good that shockwave was by FY? I don't know whether he did it on purpose. I'm going to assume he did, but the shockwave hit onto the Brewmaster just as the split ran out, so he couldn't blink away. And he literally only... I don't know whether he blinked in, saw him, and just chucked the shockwave at him as soon as he saw him. But...
Dragon Tail on Oasis. He's in trouble. TP attempt and get away from maybe, but again, pushing him back and pushing back these Radiant heroes. One by one, they all continue to struggle, and the swap is used, but that just puts Sansheng into the hands of Ame.
I mean, he still has a BKB up on this PA.
And he's just going to continue forward. There's the Stone Gaze. BKB is popped by Chalice. And they still have the BKB for Phantom Assassin to turn around after the Stone Gaze is over. But they've got the solo RP, and they'll pull him away from the team. They'll isolate him. BKB finally popped by Ame, and the backlines they've got maybe going in with the Soul Bind onto 2 heroes. Sccc dies. There goes Moggy and Alwyn. Sansheng next to fall. Wasey make it a full team wipe for LGD to put the exclamation point on game 1 and take it.
Really convincing performance by LGD. I love that they waited to go high ground before they had all their utility items up as well. Like, you see this from so many of the good teams. Like, they'll wait for the mechs, they'll wait for the ACs or the Crimsons or whatever they want to build. Because that's going to be the hardest point of the game for LGD, to take that high ground fight. They wait until they have everything